Hey guys, today we are going to be doing a private pilot practice exam. This is on our website, Evergreen Skyworks, so let's take a look here. We'll go up to private pilot practice test. And then I have not taken this test for a long time, so I might be a little rusty. I'm just going to go through it and then we'll see what happens here. So number one, maintenance records show the last transponder inspection was performed September 1st, 2014. Next inspection will be due no later than, I think it's September 30th, 2 years plus 30 days after. Um, with respect to certification of airmen, categories of aircraft, I believe that's B, airplane, rotorcraft, glider. And also, guys, like while you're watching this video, take notes and let's just do this test together, and we'll see how we do. Flashing white light signal from the control tower to a taxiing aircraft is an indication to, I believe that's return to the starting point, back to the ramp, return to the ramp. During operations outside controlled airspace at altitudes of more than 1,200 feet AGL, but less than 10,000 feet MSL, the minimum flight visibility for a day VFR flight is. So it's outside controlled airspace. So that makes me think that means it's class G airspace. And if I remember correctly, I think it's 1 mile. Unless otherwise authorized, two-way radio communication with air traffic controller required for landings at or takeoffs at all towered airports. That would be regardless of weather conditions. You always have to be in contact during landings or takeoffs at towered airports. During operations outside controlled airspace at altitudes of more than 1,200 feet above ground level, but less than 10,000, the minimum distance below clouds. Outside controlled airspace, it's class G. So I think that one is 500 feet. Two-way radio communication must be established with air traffic control. That would be class C. Pre-takeoff briefing of passengers about the use of seatbelts for a flight is responsibility of the pilot in command. 100-hour inspection was due at 3302.5 hours. The 100-hour inspection was actually done at 3309. So it's 100 hours from the when it was due. So it'd be 3402.5, I believe. While on final approach to a runway equipped with a standard 2-bar VASI, the lights appear as shown by the illustration D. Red over red would mean you're below the glide path. Refer to figure 26, area 2, the town of Cooperstown Airport. The question asks, the day VFR visibility and cloud clearance requirements operate over the town of Cooperstown after departing at or below 700 feet AGL. I think it's just 1 mile in clear clouds because I think it's class G. It's 700 feet. Class E goes down to 700 feet inside the magenta band, I believe. And speaking to a flight service weather briefer, you should state, and it's been a while since I've done these. I'm a little rusty, guys. So once I believe is it whether the flight is VFR or IFR? Why is frost considered hazardous to flight? Frost would spoil the smooth airflow over the wings, decreasing lifting capability. Definitely wouldn't increase lift, so wouldn't increase control effectiveness. So the C on that one. Bird of figure 17. So STL at 12,000 feet. If I remember, I believe it's this little box here. So it's the first two numbers are the wind direction. So it'd be 230 degrees true. because if it's in print, then it must be true, at 39 knots. The mature stage of a thunderstorm begins with, I believe it's the start of precipitation. For to the figures 32 and 33, what action can adjust the airplane's weight? Front seat occupants 425. We know that empty weight of the aircraft is 2015, so 425 plus 300 is 725. 725 plus 2015 is that 2740. And then fuel weighs 44 gallons. 44 gallons times 6 pounds per gallon. So 44 times 6 would be 264 plus, what is it, 2740. So yeah, we'd go 425 plus 2015 plus 300 is 2740 plus 264. And then it says that the maximum weight here is 2950. So if we take, and then does it say, I believe 3004 less 2950 equal 54 divided by 6 pounds per gallon. So yeah, 9. Drain 9 gallons of fuel. What action did the pilot take when operating under VFR at a military operations area? I think it's C, exercise extreme caution when military activity is conducted, unless otherwise authorized. If flying a transponder equipped aircraft, pilot should always squawk 1200. What is one purpose of wing flaps? So wing flaps enable a pilot to make steeper approaches, yes, to a landing without increasing airspeed. I think it's A. With regards to carburetor ice float type carburetor systems in comparison to fuel injection systems are generally considered to be, I think, more susceptible to icing. What does a red line on an airspeed indicator represent? That would be the never exceed speed. Portion of the runway identified by letter A may be used for taxiing and takeoff. You can't land. It's a displaced threshold. So you can use it for taxiing or takeoff. Who has final authority to accept or decline any land and hold short clearance? The pilot in command. For to figure 38, determine the approximate landing ground roll distance. If the pressure altitude is 5,000 feet, the headwind is calm, and the temperature is 101 degrees. So for this question, we would go to this 5,000 feet and 41 degrees. And then this says to decrease the distances shown by 10% for each 4 knots of headwind. So the headwind is calm, I don't have to worry about that. Increase the distance by 10% for each 60. So we would increase the temperature by, because it's 60 degrees over 41. The temperature is 101 degrees. So we'd increase the distance by 10%. So yeah, it would be 495 times 1.1. 545. We're to figure at 38. Determine the total distance required to land over a 50-foot obstacle. Pressure altitude is 5,000 feet. So again, we'd be looking in this box here. Pressure altitude is 5,000 feet. Headwind is 8. Temperature is 41 degrees. So it would decrease the distance shown by 10% for each 4 knots of headwind. But 20% decrease that 1195 by 20%. 1195 times 0.8. 956. Refer to figure 35, determine the approximate manifold pressure setting. 6,500 feet, temperature of 36. So we'd be at 36, 6,500 would be between the 6 and 8. So we would be between here and here. So, yeah, I believe it'd be 21. Term angle of attack is defined as the angle between the chord, I think it's the chord line of the wing and the relative wind. When the course deviation indicator, CDI needle is centered using a VOR test signal, the omni-bearing selector OBS, and the two from indicators should read. This one's tricky. I do not recall what this one is. I'm going to guess 0 degrees. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to guess B. Um, refer to figure 52. What is the recommended communication procedure for landing at Lincoln Municipal? So for this one, we would do, so that's saying, I think we'd monitor airport traffic and announce position intentions on the CTAF of 118.5. Wouldn't be 112.95 because that's Unicom. So yeah, A. 25 Area 5 at Dallas Fort Worth. This, I believe, is a VORTAC. Where is Loop City Municipal located in relation to the city? Loop City would be down here, and then this little, see this 1 NW? That means it's 1 mile northwest. Northwest, approximately 1 mile B. Refer to figure 52. When approaching Lincoln Municipal from the west at noon for the purpose of landing, initial communication should be with. Yeah, we'd be approaching from, well, yeah, we would be from the west, so it'd be 124. Refer to figure 64. Which marking indicates a vehicle lane? The vehicle lane. Let's take a look here. I think that's C, right? It's these ones. Pilot and two passengers landed on a 2,100-foot east-west gravel strip, elevation of 1,800 feet. Temperature is warmer than expected, and after computing the density altitude, is determined the takeoff distance over a 50-foot obstacle, 1,980 feet. The airplane is 75 pounds under gross weight. What would be the best choice? Just considering that it's got higher elevation, temperature is warmer than expected, and it's pretty short runway at 2,100 feet. I would say wait until the temperature decreases and recalculate takeoff performance. An aircraft is equipped with a fixed pitch propeller and a float type carburetor. First indication of carburetor ice would most likely be. Is it engine roughness or loss of RPM? Do you guys know? I'm gonna guess loss of RPM. I do not recall. Bird of figure 20 area 1, now Fentress Airport. So 20 area 1, Alpha and Fentress Airport. Okay, so it's this little Class E airport here. So that is in Class E because it's a magenta dash line. It's Class E all the way down to the surface. While on a VFR cross country, not in contact with ATC, what frequency would you use in the event of an emergency? These are just ones to commit to memory. 121.5. ATC advises traffic 12 o'clock. This advisor is relative to your, it's not a course, it's not a heading. I believe it's ground track, which statement relates to Bernoulli's principle. I forget this one. I want to say it's not forever. It's not A. Air traveling faster over the curved upper surface. Yeah, I think it's C. Air traveling faster over the curved upper surface of an airfoil causes lower pressure on the top surface. Yeah. Deviation error of the magnetic compass is caused by, I think it's certain metals and electrical systems within the aircraft. When executing an emergency approach to land in a single engine airplane, it is important to maintain a constant glide speed because variations in glide speed will, variations in glide speed would nullify attempts at accuracy and judgment of gliding distance and landing spot. How far will an aircraft travel in 7.5 minutes with a ground speed of 114 knots? So we know that we will travel at 1 nautical mile per minute at an airspeed of 60 knots, and 60 knots per hour divided by 60 minutes is equal to 1 nautical mile per minute. And then just take 114 divided by 60, which is equal to 1.9. We multiply 7.5 by 1.9 to get 14.25 nautical miles. Okay, so the radius of the procedural outer area of Class Charlie airspace is normally the radius, I believe, 20 nautical miles. For a figure eight, what is the effect of a temperature increase from 35 degrees to 50 degrees on the density altitude if the pressure altitude remains at 3,000 feet? So let me just draw a line here. We'll go up from 30 degrees up to the 3,000 foot pressure altitude line. Look over to the left, and we see it's roughly 1,500 feet. We just take our mouse up to the 50-degree line. See that it's roughly, what, 2,700 feet? So, and it's definitely not a decrease in density altitude because it's getting warmer, so we can eliminate B. So I think it's C. It's roughly, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but on these things, but I think it's C. The AIM specifically encourages pilots to turn on their landing lights when operating below 10,000 feet day or night, especially when operating C. Conditions of reduced visibility. Making routine transponder code changes, pilots should avoid inadvertent selection of which code. This one, definitely don't want to do 7,500. Pilot experiencing effects of hyperventilation should be able to restore the proper carbon dioxide level in the body by, definitely don't increase the breathing rate, slow the breathing rate, breathing into a paper bag, or talking aloud. This sign confirms your position. Let's see. So a black background with yellow numbers would indicate a runway. From the cockpit, this marking confirms the aircraft to be. If we were here, we would be on the runway, about to exit. We're to figure 78. What are the basic VFR weather minimums required from the Onawa, Iowa K-36 airport during the day? And so let's take a look where Onawa is at. It is right here. So this is Class G. Basic VFR weather minimums. So it's I believe it's 1 statute mile and clear of clouds is all you need to take off in Class G airspace. If receiver autonomous integrity monitoring capabilities lost in flight, I think it's the pilot has no assurance of the accuracy of the GPS position. You plan to phone a weather briefing facility for pre-flight weather information. You should. I don't know. This one I'm stumped. Begin with your route of flight. Identify yourself as a pilot. I think it's identify yourself as a pilot. Your cousin wants you to take him flying. You must have made at least 3 takeoffs and 3 landings in your aircraft within the preceding 90 days, I believe. Yep. And what flight conditions are torque effects more pronounced in a single engine airplane? The wind at 5,000 feet AGL is southwesterly, while the surface wind is southerly. This difference in direction is primarily due to friction between the wind and the surface, I believe. Eye movements during daytime collision avoidance. Uh, Scanning should, I think it's not exceed 10 degrees. View each sector for at least a second. And there's a temperature inversion you'd expect to experience. So temperature inversions are an increase in temperature as altitude increases. When warm, moist, stable air flows upslope, it's, let's see, warm, moist, stable airflow slope. I think it's causes showers and thunderstorms. Warm, moist air, yeah, is a recipe for thunderstorms and turbulence. Each person who holds a pilot certificate or medical certificate shall present it for inspection upon the request of any, it's local law enforcement officer. Correct method of stating 5,500 feet MSL to ATC. It's definitely not 5.5, 5,500. See. Let's see how we did. All right, we got 56 out of 60. I'm yeah, not bad, 93%. So let's just take a look here. See how you did. So this will just show you the correct answers. Um, and then yeah, you guys can take this test. It's evergreenskyworks.com/private pilot practice test. Um, this is free. It's totally free for you guys. And then it'll give you your score, and then you can go back and review here. So, all right, let's review the ones I got wrong here real quick. Just scroll down. I think I got 4 wrong. Bird of Figure 25 Area 5 navigation facility at Dallas Fort Worth. Oh, I said it was a VORTAC. It's actually a VOR DME. Bird of Figure 8. Oh, that was the density altitude question with the graph. That was actually A. Yeah, that one was a. Sometimes those are kind of hard to read, so just make sure you're reading the graph closely on those. When warm, moist, stable air flows upslope, it. Okay, I missed this one because I did not see stable. So showers and thunderstorms would be unstable air. So this one is actually A. It would produce stratus type clouds. So my bad. I missed that. Missed the stable part of that question. It's a good reminder to just pay close attention to the question and really read each word there. Oh, and then I also got the when the course deviation indicator CDI needle is centered, the Omni bearing selector. Yeah, this one. Okay, so it's 0 degrees from or 180 degrees to, regardless of the pilot's position from the VOT. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe for more private pilot test prep videos.